Hey everyone, welcome to 5 More Minutes, the show where two friends relive their childhoods or, in some cases, learn about everything they missed out on. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Scott.
Hell yeah, you are, bitch. I don't have a joke, but I have a fun fact.
Oh, what's the fun fact?
Okay, it's a TIL. So today I learned that in 1793, the metric system was on its way to America, and then British pirates raided the ship that was bringing all of the measuring tools to America, and they never made it.
Is that a real thing?
Yeah, it was an NPR article.
Huh, that's random.
Yeah, and then apparently there was some other time where like every state was like given metric measurements or something, instruments to use, and then like no one did anything about it.
And they're just like, that's cool. No thanks.
Yeah, I was like, huh, because like I mean, we're like the literal only country that just is like, no, we're doing our own thing.
Heck yeah, we are. Independence.
Yeah, so I thought that that was a fun fact, and it was also timely because in one of my classes today we were talking about how stupid it was that we're the only, because we were talking about how in other countries they write the dates different, like the day
Right.
and then the year, or the day and then the month and then the year, or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
2312 or
Right.
2021 to 23 or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it says how Pirates of the Caribbean hijacked Americans' metric system.
Little did they know they would change history forever.
Mm-hmm. So then I guess someone created feet.
Well, those were already existing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
someone had a ball making their own system, that's for sure.
they had a ball on their foot. Bitch.
Yeah, whatever that means.
Yeah, so apparently the French were sending a scientist um and all of the stuff to, it was a small copper cylinder with a little handle on top, 3 inches tall and about the same wide. The object was intended to be a standard for weighing things, part of a weights and measure system being developed in France, now known as a metric system.
Mm.
And they ran into a storm that blew the ship off track. And apparently they were British privateers, so they were waterborne criminals tactically supported by the British government, and they were supposed to harass enemy shipping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically we fought the British for freedom, and then they intercepted our measuring system.
That's how they got back at us.
Yeah, but they weren't interested in keeping any of the objects. They just stole them all and then auctioned them off.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were interested in the money.
Yeah.
Huh. What? And
It
so they
says,
failed one time and they just gave up?
well, it also says ultimately the kilogram made it into the hands of an American land surveyor named Andrew Ellicott. Uh, and now it's at the National Institute of Standards. But no, I don't know if it's in this article. Um, let's see. It says the Metric Conversion Act of 1975 declared that it was the policy of the United States to, quote, designate the metric system of measurement as the preferred system of weights and measures for the United States in trade and commerce. And then it was amended. So I don't know. It was amended like 3 times with the aim of pushing the routine use of the metric system, so far without much success.
Yeah, so it sounds like they would have just done it for like goods and shipping, which would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know, but these people who I was listening to talk about this like looked it up and said that like they had found other sources. It said like multiple attempts had been made, and just you know how Americans are. So
Yeah, yeah, this
yeah.
is true.
Mm-hmm.
We do what we
Mm-hmm.
want.
Yeah. But in our news segment for Shoot Corner, we both took some dubs today.
Yeah, two of them apparently.
Yeah, I kept rechecking my email like every 10 minutes to be like, did I get the other one too? Because like you should at least be able to get your money back for both shoes, like if you sell
Oh
one
yeah,
pair,
yeah.
like easily. But I also wonder because I haven't seen anyone anywhere post about getting the white ones, but they pushed the release back by a week. And so I wonder if they pushed the raffle drawings back.
I think they did.
Because I've only seen people post about getting the black ones. Apparently, if you got selected on the Discord, you got the option to get either or both pairs.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. But
Yes, I would like both.
I was assuming that I wasn't gonna get those, which is part of the reason why I was gonna get the dunks. But if I got the dunks, that'd be like $800 in shoes this month. But also, um, a lot of shoes in the same colorway, really close together.
Yeah,
Because like the ones, and then the 12s, and then I mean the Kizzos I got are pink and brown. So that's just like a lot of
yeah,
you know.
yeah. And I guess for those who care, we got the Ama Manier 12s is what
Oh yeah.
we got notified for today.
Yeah, Scott sent me an email and I was like, wait, do I have an email? And then I scrolled through and I like scrolled past it. And I didn't even notice it. Like, because I think my Gmail like doesn't load as fast for some reason in my because I have all my emails
In one, yeah.
in one app, And then I was like, wait, does that say Ama order confirmed? And I was like, oh my gosh, it does.
Yeah. Well, the first one that popped up for me was like the Soul Extinct or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I was like, is this a like a scam? Like, because I didn't remember that was the name of the site I entered it on. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that is a thing.
I couldn't even remember what that site was either. Like I went to search it in my email and I was like, it was called Soul something. What
Something.
was that?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, well, apparently I got two pairs of those coming, but yeah.
I'm interested to see what the numbers are. I follow an Instagram that posts like I'm assuming someone gives him like the stats and they post them,
Yeah.
but they don't do it until like the official release day. So
Because I think I saw that the black ones were coming out on the 24th now. And then I
and then
saw the
like the
white ones were
second.
like the 5th, I thought.
Oh, I think it's the second, but it might I just got like an official thingy on the Discord for it. I think I took a screenshot.
I guess the second or third would be like a week from the other one, so that would make sense. But
It says 3-2.
3-2. Well, maybe you get lucky and get white ones too. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know which ones I like better because I generally like white shoes more, but I kind of like that the black ones aren't smooth.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Yeah.
don't know.
So yeah, too much money on shoes, and then I mean,
Mhm.
I probably spent $800 in just like the past 4 or 5 days on shoes.
Well, I mean, on the day that I got the ones and the Kizzos, I spent like 400 or 300 and like $75 in like 5 minutes. So,
Yeah, it's always fun.
Yeah.
Launch it out. I gotta post a bunch for sale this weekend. Start getting some things kickstarted here.
I did decide to list my ambush shoes just because I haven't really been wearing them. And I mean, I've worn them like 3 or 4 times, but I paid like $100 for those. So
Yeah,
even if I sold them for like the lowest bid, I would be fine with that. Because I don't mind them, but they are kind of clunky.
probably heavy.
And yeah, I mean, they're fine. If they don't sell, I'll probably just turn them into like whatever shoes.
Yeah,
But I really want someone to buy those stupid Air Maxes. I'm almost considering bringing them to SneakerCon and trying to have someone buy them for like $40. I don't really care at this point.
I saw a pair of those in bait were for sale too.
Yeah, they weren't a freaking men's size 5. Someone would probably buy them.
Probably that's a rough size to deal with. You need to find some small dudes.
Yeah, I'm also really upset because I wanted to go to the driving range and it's been like 20-mile-an-hour winds for like 3 days.
Yeah, for real.
Like I was like, oh cool, I'll go this weekend because it's been like 50 degrees. And then I was like, well,
Last night
I'm
I
not
thought
doing
a
that.
freaking tree was gonna go down. It was so windy over here.
Yeah, it was like getting like I think when I went to bed, it was like 35-mile-an-hour wind. And then
Yeah.
like gusts up to 50. And I think my dog was anxious because of the wind. Cause like the angle my house is at, it like blows into the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just making a bunch of like weird like I think I slept bad too, because like it's louder in the second story.
Loud with all that wind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shouts out to Jackie if she still listens because she had a fun weekend.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Yeah, quite an unexpected turn. Didn't quite get through everything we were shooting for, but you know how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you end up doing?
Um well, I cooked all of my food for like 2 weeks because since softball starts next week, I didn't want to not have food prepped when I got back from my trip.
Right.
Uh, and then yesterday I pretty much graded like until 10 p.m.
That's
and I
pretty
went to the
exciting.
gym. Yeah.
Man.
And on Saturday, I edited the podcast.
Nice.
And I think that's pretty much it.
No, sounds productive. Anyway,
Yeah.
getting things done, gotta do it.
I got this s'mores flavored creamer, and I was like, I'll put a little splash in my like latte, but I think I put a little bit too much in it. Now it's kind of weird tasting.
Splash was a little too big.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I'm probably gonna like only go for hot drops the next month because I don't think I need to buy any shoes for myself.
Yeah, the collection, it grows.
Like if those Travis Scott still come out, I don't know if it's worth going for the Tiffany ones or not. I guess probably, but I don't even know when
It
those are gonna drop.
probably would be.
Oh,
I
they're in
mean,
there actually.
are they?
They're just $400, so it's like stupid.
Yeah. They're probably worth 1,000 though.
Yeah. They
Ridiculous.
must have just uploaded them because I looked like 2 hours ago and they weren't there yet.
Damn.
But
They're on top of it.
yeah. I was pretty tempted by the shock drop for the 11s today.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know if
kind
you
of
saw that.
surprised those. I went in and
I
looked at the sizes just out of curiosity, but
yeah. Uh
yeah.
by the time I like looked at 9:15, there was like only like 7 and smaller, I think,
Yeah.
for the
Mid sizes go
cherries. But I
fast.
mean, they had these in like all sizes. But
Yeah. It's kind of surprising because they're like, oh, she's going to be so popular. And then they're like,
we
well,
should
here it is
just have
again.
a separate podcast. Maybe it would do better where we only talk about shoes, and then maybe we can get people to like send us shoes, and then
Send us
we can
shoes for
like
review.
test them out. Yeah,
Yeah. I'd be
yeah,
down.
that'd be
Or maybe
dope.
just rebrand this podcast.
Yeah, 5 more shoes.
More shoes. That's a nice little offshoot.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's weird. Oh,
Lord
well, that
knows
is weird.
between the two of us, we have plenty to review to start.
Yeah, and like I have different tastes than you, so you know. Like I also really want those crepe Air Maxes. If those are in there next month, I'll probably buy them as like my because I would wear those a lot. I like my Air Maxes. I was oh my gosh, I don't know if you have this trouble. Probably not because whatever. But I was like, I have to figure out what pairs of shoes I want to bring to Seattle first, so that I can pick the clothes I want to bring.
Yeah. Well, no, I definitely do that. Like the shoes
Okay.
go in my bag first. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw that big backpack I have now, but you can store like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes in it in like pockets. So I swear everywhere I go, I have at least like 3 pairs with me now.
I'm probably just gonna bring 2 pairs. It's supposed to be kind of like gross,
Yeah.
but I'll probably bring like my brown Air Maxes just because I think those will be kind of more comfortable for like walking around in.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to wear any of my like actual nice ones if it rains. So
Yeah. That was the same thing I went through. I was like, well, the ones I wear have to be able to get wet. And
yeah.
I took a bold choice and I wore those lucky greens and they were fine.
Do you spray protect them?
Not those ones because they were just all leather.
I got the Rejuvenator one this time. It dries faster, which is nice. But I just spray all of them. Also, because I'm prone to spilling my coffee, so it makes it a little bit easier to clean.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. If you guys
Those
listen to
will
episode
be
1 of
tough.
this podcast, you'll or wait, we recorded them in the opposite order. Is it episode 3? I don't remember, but if you listen to one of the first 3 podcasts, I recorded from a hotel and I had just purchased new white shoes and not even worn them, but spilled the coffee inside my bag with the shoe in it.
That's
That's
right.
an all-time low for me, I think.
Well, hopefully it doesn't get any worse than that now. You got it out of your system.
Yeah. I did get a dribble on my Vans the other day because my hands were full and it leaked out of the lid. You know how sometimes like the coffee lids, like even when they're closed, like they got a little like slidey thing. I was like,
Yeah,
God dang it.
they
But
don't work too
Vans are
well.
like really easy to clean. So
Yeah, they got that good material.
yeah. But anyways, I know it's still a month away, but I'm very excited for our golfing weekend.
Time to golf. Hopefully it's not like fourth winter by then.
Oh yeah. I'm also just excited to give you your birthday present still.
Oh, snap.
Heck yeah, bitch.
Never been so prepared.
I really don't think I have been.
Nice.
But last weekend when I went to Seattle on the same weekend, it was actually pretty nice. So that's upsetting.
Hold on 1 second. My laptop isn't charging.
Okay. Do 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 do. I tried to find a picture of us because I thought I had one printed somewhere, and I was gonna start the podcast by being like, "Look at this photograph." Every time I do, it makes me laugh, but then I couldn't
Wow.
find the picture because I decided this week, at in the passing period, I'm just gonna play Nickelback. I haven't been playing music lately, but for some reason, I feel like I need to do that. And I have that one student who doesn't know who like any artist is and knows like no music.
Right.
And so she had obviously never heard of Nickelback. And she was like, "Is this like a famous band or something?"
Is this like, do people know who this
and then
is?
and then there were students in my 6th hour because I only did it for my first and 6th hour, and they were like, "I've never heard this before, miss, but I would like my ears to survive."
Well, if you want that, too bad. This is what we grew up with. Yeah. Anyway.
Heck yeah. So that's fun.
Yeah. Exciting times. I guess we can just jump into our nonsense this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna toss that map down on the floor and take a hop in.
Like Dora the Explorer.
Um,
or Blue's Clues, whatever.
Yeah, I never watched Dora the Explorer, so I was going more for Blue's Clues and or the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, the well-known reference.
But when I picture it in my head, I picture Blue's Clues.
Fair enough.
And the like throwing it down thing, and then sometimes the songs.
Throwing it down.
Like, do you ever go get your mail and you're like, mail time? Because sometimes I am.
Not really.
Or I'm like, here's the mail, it never fails, it makes me want to wag my tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it comes, I want to wail. Interested to see if that picked up in the mic or if I peaked the audio.
I think you might have peaked it because it cut a little bit.
Yeah, because anytime I try to like whisper or make a weird noise in the microphone, I can never hear it. So
well, yeah, I guess I can hear it. Don't worry.
Yeah. But anyways, we almost forgot. Did we even do a movie last month?
I don't think we did.
Yeah, I think we kind of forgot because like we're all over the place. We're busy people.
Yeah.
But last night we were trying to figure out what to do, and then I was like, wait, it's the last episode of the month, bitch. We gotta watch a movie.
Movie time.
Hell yeah. And I pretty much targeted in right away on the Final Fantasy movies. Because that's been kind of in the back of my brain for a while. So
yeah. And I think there's some other ones that I probably haven't watched yet, but we watched Final Fantasy.
The Spirits Within.
The Spirits Within. Yes.
Yeah, there's a Final Fantasy 7 movie. Have you seen that?
Yeah, and that one's decent. That one's pretty good.
I want to watch the cartoon one. I just didn't think I'd be able to find it in like 3 hours.
I don't know which cartoon one that is.
It seems like it was like a Japanese or something release only, but it was on VHS.
Interesting.
It said it came out in 1994.
Huh. And then I know there's like the Final Fantasy 15 movie, and I have seen that, like the prequel to it, which isn't bad either. It was just kind of but yeah, this one came out in 2001. I remember watching it in like the beginning of high school.
So we gotta do our thing, right? Because this is not the first. I don't know when the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out, but this is all around the same time as the first Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, I guess maybe we should do animated movies to compare, but movies that came out in 2001: Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Monsters Inc., Shrek, Spirited Away. But isn't this around, or maybe 2000 is the first Lord of the Rings movie?
Oh, yeah, could be.
It was somewhere around there. Rugrats all growed up. Halloween Town 2. Oh, no, yeah. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings came out in 2001.
There you go. So some pretty big movies that year.
And I have reviews pulled up too for later.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so I'm going to be completely honest with you that this movie was really hard for me to watch.
I figured it would
and
be.
I was trying to pay attention so hard, and I could just never figure out what was really going on, except for the lady was having dreams and they were trying to like save her. Like
yeah.
Like I was like, okay, there's American countries in here, or I mean cities. There's like Tucson or something and New York. But like I had no idea what was going on. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah, so I did just a little bit of brief reading before I watched it just to remind myself a little bit. Um, but this is the only Final Fantasy thing, like, between the games, the movies, whatever else, this is the only thing that takes place on Earth. So this is like the
Well,
only
see,
thing they tried to tie into our world.
that's what I was confused about because I was like, well, I don't have that much Final Fantasy knowledge. Like, I've started the old and new version of 7, and I have Final Fantasy 10 or whatever, but I was like, I don't think these are supposed to be taking place in America. Like
No.
I heard them say Tucson and I was like, wait, what? Like I was just so confused.
Where are we right now? Yeah, that part of it is really weird because I remember even when the first time I watched this, like, what would that have been? Like 2006, like so long ago that even then I was like, why is this so different than pretty much every other Final Fantasy game I've ever played?
Yeah, and my other thing just up front is that well, when we get to the reviews, a lot of people seemed to like the graphics. I don't know that I necessarily did. I felt like I was watching a 2 hour long cutscene from a video game,
Yeah.
and I didn't really like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed like that's how the people looked like, you know what I mean? Like it was very video game as far as like looks.
It was, but I mean, that quality would be almost like video games today. Like
Yeah,
the
that's
the
true.
only thing was they were like very far ahead of technology for 2001. Like,
Yeah.
obviously new video games blow that out of the water and new movies and things, but
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like the graphics for that compared to like Shrek are much more like intense and kind of like the three-dimensional thing, but I don't know that I liked
yeah.
watching it as a movie. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
I don't think it was quite right for like the like medium of movie maybe.
And some of the other things I read was that it was like they strove to like push the technology as hard as it could to make it look as much like actual people as possible. So
Yeah, and
that
I
was
think
like their
that's what I
big
didn't
thing.
like. I think
Yeah.
in video games, I don't mind when they're trying to make the people look real like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just hard.
Yeah. So, um, what do I have here? It said it was the first photorealistic computer animated feature film and the most expensive video game inspired film until 2010. So it
The
took that
most the most what? The
the most
most
expensive,
oh.
like, to make.
For some reason I thought you said the most inspired and I was like, I don't know what that
Yeah, I don't know
means.
about that one. um, so in this world, it is 2065, which isn't that far away anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like all of the sci-fi movies from like the 70s and 80s took place like today, and the world is nothing
Right.
like how they envisioned it.
But we still have a chance to make it to this one because it was pretty much all destroyed.
True. And we may be on that path.
We could be. So for some reason, at this time, the Earth is infested with a bunch of alien spirits, crazy orange looking monsters that are like, they kind of look like ghosts. They're transparent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're slowly killing
Or like
humanity.
ectoplasm,
Kind of, yeah.
ectoplasma.
And our main character is Aki Ross, who is
Mm-hmm.
a lady doctor,
Mm-hmm.
um, who is researching like life on Earth and how to stop all of this from happening or
Mm-hmm.
continuing.
Also, I will add, I'm just gonna interject this. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of like big names in this movie
I know.
for voice acting. Like the chick you're talking about, or the person who voices her,
Yes.
um, is the person who voices Mulan.
Right. And
Like
she's
that,
in
and Star
ER.
Wars, Marvel's Agents
Mm-hmm.
of Shield. Like she's in like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the other thing I don't think I ever appreciated the first time I watched this movie because, I mean, this movie has Alec Baldwin, Steve Buscemi.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw. I
like
saw. I didn't even. Yeah, I didn't even know Steve Buscemi was in it. Buscemi, whatever.
Ving
Um,
Rhames.
yeah, this is
There are
probably
just
out
so
of
many
all the
big
bad
names.
movies. I think this one has like the most well-known people in it.
It's like they thought this was going to go places for sure with this
Mm-hmm.
cast.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Although
yeah.
Alec Baldwin is now like a convicted murderer, so
Well, yeah. I mean, this was in 2001.
Yeah.
It was a little different back then. Um, so our doctor, Aki, is having crazy weird dreams about these like aliens confronting her and like a barren wasteland and weird things happening. They call them phantoms around colloquially. I'm gonna try to say that word right now. And she goes down to Earth looking for a plant. She was like scanning and she needs to find a plant. She goes down there and
Very scientist of her.
it is. And she goes down there and, of course, gets in trouble because there's phantoms and they want to kill humans. Um, and then,
Yeah. So wait, hold up.
yeah.
Because they were like not on Earth.
Well, she was just orbiting Earth in her little space pod.
Oh, right. But
And
the
then,
phantoms want to kill all humans.
yeah.
Is that how? So because it looked like the cities kind of had like protective bubbles around them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anytime the humans come in contact with the phantoms will kill them. That type of thing. Predator, prey. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But she's down there in what was called old New York City, which seems a little weird to say. And all we know is she's trying to find a spirit. That's really all they say. And then mercenaries find her. I guess they're not mercenaries, they'd be more like military of this world. And they help her get the plant and get out. And it turns out one of them is her old acquaintance, Captain Gray, who is also Alec Baldwin in this movie.
I also have just another Final Fantasy question in general.
Yeah.
Because they're not really like, there's only certain games that are connected, right?
Right. Like Final Fantasy VII has nothing to do with Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
But there is like, Final Fantasy X has a Final Fantasy X number 2. They're like sequels to storylines. But in general, they're all separate.
So what makes them all connected? Because I feel like there's like stuff about dreams in like all of them.
Not really.
I would
say,
in Final Fantasy VII, there's like dreams.
Well, I mean, there's dreams in like everything, if you boil down to it.
That's true. I still need to play that because I want to understand what the heck is wrong with his. Why did everything burn?
Oh yeah. Cloud stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like overarching themes in them a lot, but I would say
so. There's not really characters that appear in multiple games.
No, there is always a character named Sid, though.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering because I was like, I'm pretty sure there's someone named Sid in.
Yeah, pretty much every game has a Sid, and usually he is like the vehicle pilot, like airship pilot. And this he was a scientist, but he also drove a plane at one point. So we'll take what we can get.
That was what circled me back to that because I and then I got sidetracked because I was like, Sid, isn't there a Sid? Like I was just like, who's Sid?
Who is Sid? Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The plot of this movie completely lost on me.
Yeah, I mean, I
there's a little sad moment at the end, like whatever. But
I understood by the end what they were going for, but it is pretty convoluted. Like,
my dog was also being really annoying during the first like 30 minutes because she was freaked out by the wind. She wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
Like her ears were like rotating. Like
they were
nonstop.
Like, where is the noise coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that's revealed at this point is that this doctor is looking for spirits on Earth. And they make it back to the new New York City, for lack of a better term, which is just the barrier area which keeps the phantoms out. So it's like the safe haven for the humans. She reunites with her mentor, who is Dr. Sid, who we mentioned. And then they are able to confirm that the plant she found is the spirit that they are looking for, because they're looking for spirits. Don't ask questions.
Well, the other thing, the other thing I was gonna ask is because like they keep talking about Gaia.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that's like common in multiple Final Fantasy things? Or am I just thinking about that from something else?
I mean, Gaia just means like Earth. That's in tons of things.
But maybe it's because we talked about something recently where there was like, was it when we were talking about
God of War?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a Gaia. So basically the spirit of the Earth.
Did you know that the movie was originally titled Gaia?
I did. Fun facts. Apparently, whoever that guy, I forget that guy, the director's name, will shout him out here in a little bit. But um, so they have this spirit, and then something they reveal is that humans can be infected by these phantoms, and it can like make them sick and eventually kill them. So they find out that Captain Gray has been infected by their little journey, and she's able to save him by operating and shooting the infection with a laser or something. I don't really know. Um, and then Aki and Sid are kind of talking about the spirits. Um, and then they find themselves in kind of a political meeting in which the people of the city are trying to decide what to do about these phantoms. There's like a crater and an impact zone on the earth where they have originated from. And so the military mean guy, who's James Woods, another big name, he wants to just use their ultra mega highly sophisticated cannon and blow it up. Like he just wants to destroy them and see if it works. But Sid, the scientist, is like, well, if you do that, you could potentially hurt Gaia, the spirit of Earth. And then everyone's like rolling their eyes at him and like, oh my gosh, you believe in like these spirits and whatever. It's like they're not real. Who cares? But then Aki steps up and says, oh, I have proof. It's because I currently have the phantom infection, which should have killed me a long time ago. But since we have been finding these spirits and like canceling out the wavelength of the phantom spirits, I'm still alive. She has like this barrier around her infection. And she's like, the only known person to have survived from this. So when she shows the council that, they're like, oh, okay, maybe we let them find the last spirits they're looking for and see if they can cancel out the phantoms. And it's revealed that there are 8 spirits for some reason. They've been in all different manners of things. Like she mentioned, she found one in a sparrow and she found one in a small child. And later on, they find one in like a energy pack because it used living cells, and like that was the part that was kind of like losing me. Is like I could see maybe if you wanted to do spirits of like different things, like you had the
How do you
plant.
find the spirit?
They had some kind of weird like radar tracker that they were like trying to track wavelengths that they were looking for. Yeah.
Did they remove it from the child?
So it
Do you
was
need to perform a lobotomy?
well, it was revealed that that child was terminally ill and she died. And then
See, I didn't even know there was a child in the movie.
well, it was just like a
I've
backstory.
never
It didn't
even
show a
seen a
scene.
child.
Yeah,
Oh.
never ever. I don't know what those
Nope.
are.
Yeah, what is a child?
So after they convince the council, our general guy who wants to, he's very gun happy and wants to blow things up. He's conspiring against them because that's all he wants to do. He's like, I don't want them to end this peacefully. I always want to blow them up. So he's trying to find any way that he can to interfere with their plan. So I think I mentioned it's revealed there's 8 spirits. They currently have 6 of them. And so she needs 2 more to cure herself and then destroy the phantoms or whatever. Very convenient that you can do both.
It's a little sus.
It is. So they go out to Tucson, like Kendra mentioned, to find the 7th spirit, which they find on a dead soldier, but it's his like energy battery pack. And somehow all they explain is like, oh, living cells are used to make these battery packs. So it makes sense that, there could be a living spirit in this thing. And I was like, what? What are we talking about? And then they're basically flooded with phantoms. Like, and it's not even just like one type of phantom. There's like little alien ones with like the tentacle arm that was like shooting out at you. But then there's like big Titan ones that are like giant creatures of some sort. So they're getting run down by everyone. Oh, or
Someone honked.
that's all it takes.
Yeah, those bitches.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
It was so annoying last week because there was so much barking.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
I know there was decent amount throughout, but I never know how much is actually picked up.
Well, if I'm talking and she's barking behind me, it picks it up. So,
Yeah. Damn.
mm-hmm.
Um. So yeah, they get ambushed by phantoms, and they're trying to get out of Tucson, out of this wasteland where a bunch of dead things are because it was like an old war here. Um. They get out, but there are two soldiers in their midst that the general sent with them to be spies for him and be like, if they do anything weird, we're going to take them down. And so these two soldiers try to take down Captain Gray, Dr. Aki, and her squad, and they fail. They're able to knock them out or have a phantom kill them conveniently, and they narrowly escape. Um, so this whole time, General Hine, who is the big mean boy, he is desperate to gain clearance to shoot his gun, shoot his Zeus cannon, is what it's called. Um, so he arrests people internally.
Memphis. Oh my god.
Good, bro.
She's been barking like extra, like she's been like extra barky at sounds lately.
Mm,
Doesn't really bark at people anymore. Sounds?
yeah. Um. Okay. So, angry general. His plan is he basically purposely breaches the city and lets the shields down in one sector to let phantoms in. He thinks if they kill phantoms and show that they're still a problem, that the council will let him fire the cannon. This plan goes terribly. Too many phantoms get into the city, and they use like the pipelines to travel around, and basically the whole city ends up being a loss. They done messed up bad. Um, Only a handful of people survive this. Of course, the mean general still survives, and he gets away in the escape pod. Um, Hine is up in space afterwards, and it looks like he's contemplating suicide. He's going to take himself out. But then he gets a transmission from the council, and they tell him, hey, go ahead and use that cannon. So let's end this, or try to. Um, but now that Dr. Aki knows that, the spirits are real and they've seen them, they know that Earth, Gaia, her spirit, will also be damaged by the Zeus cannon. So they're trying to prevent that because they're like, you might destroy our world trying to destroy the phantoms. Not good. Um, so Aki and Dr. Sid devise a plan to just go to the crater themselves. They think that they'll be able to find the eighth spirit there and then basically rig together a system to end them at the same location. Kind of a one-way type trip thing. If it fails, they fail. If they succeed, then hopefully they get to survive. Um, so they get lowered into the crater, and this whole time, there's all this sexual tension between um, Captain Gray, Alec Baldwin, and Dr. Aki, because apparently they used to be a thing, so they were really harping on that the whole show. And then I guess I left out. I mean, their little like comedy buddy was basically Steve Buscemi. Buscemi. I still
Also,
don't
if
know
you
how to
don't
say
know
his
who
name.
that is, you need to wake up because he's like an American icon.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, for real, he like was a firefighter and like all that 9/11 stuff,
Mm-hmm. He's just a
And
good dude.
oh my god, and he's in um the Big Lebowski, So
Big
if you haven't seen
Lebowski,
that, you're really missing out.
Boardwalk Empire. Good
I
stuff.
never watched that.
Man, so good. I'll have to go back and watch that someday. Um, so yeah, he's like the comic relief of this. So it was always funny to hear his voice coming out of that little character. Um, Very strange. So the crew, which along the way, unfortunately, we have taken some pretty good casualties. We have lost their big black friend, who was voiced by Ving Rhames. We have lost the female mercenary of the group, um, both dead, and we have also lost Steve Buscemi. Buscemi.
A lot of people died.
A lot of people died, so it was really
Honestly, I
just
didn't even know that because the movie meant nothing to me.
Kendra really paid a lot of attention.
I tried. Like, I could not. I was like, oh my God, this movie is not like, it is not bringing me with it. Like, it is. It is going somewhere else, and I am not like the door was open, but I did not get in the car, you know?
Right, yeah. You watched it drive away longingly.
Yeah.
So it's really just down to the three of them. It's Captain Gray, Dr. Aki, Dr. Sid. Those are the only three left. And they are the ones that go to Crater. It's basically ground zero for the Phantoms. And right when they get there, our General Hine starts getting trigger happy with the Zeus cannon and basically just starts hammering it with this giant laser.
I want to segue for a second. Because this got brought up in my class today. But my student, the same one who knows no artists, they don't listen to music in the car, whatever. Right. She was like, yeah, one time in middle school, I brought a hammer to school because my teacher had some nails that weren't hammered into the wall and it bothered me. So I brought a hammer to school and I hammered them in. And I was like, okay. And you just brought a hammer to school and carried it around with you all day?
Was that
She's like, yeah, my teacher like really appreciated that I fixed the wall for her. And I was like,
okay. Maybe like, what compelled you to tell me this?
I feel like I should have we could have another podcast where we just talk about all the stuff that my students say, because I didn't even go off on the rant about what happened last week. Maybe I'll just tell you afterwards. Snap. But yeah, that could be 5 less minutes.
Right. We have all these spin-offs going on.
Yeah. The pod within the pod, you know?
Yeah. We'll have a whole pod universe. So yeah, the three of them, they're at ground zero. Things are bad because the Zeus cannon is hammering the Phantoms. It is killing Phantoms, but they can also see that it is going deep enough into the earth, and they see this like flowy, nice blue spirit down there that is Gaia, and is also hitting Gaia, and it's not going well. So they are trying to grab this eighth spirit, which died due to the Zeus cannon. But then they're like, this was another very plot armor. They're like, oh, since we're at the site of the crater and the Phantoms are intermingling with Gaia, that's what's going to create the eighth spirit. So we just need to wait until another one shows up. And it does magically. So weird. Their shield kind of goes down and they're in the crater, Gray and Aki. And then they get like knocked out. Things are going pretty poorly down there. And you know, this whole time that this story has been going on, Aki has been having these weird dreams. They keep happening over and over. You know, she sees the alien race before they were like spirits. And she comes to figure out that the spirits here are not here to invade the Earth. They are here because their planet got blown up, and all of the people that were on like the meteor, like all the alien spirits on the meteor, came crashing down to Earth, and now they're just here, and they are effectively actually ghosts of dead aliens. Which, you know, there's a lot to unpack there.
This reminds me of an ad I had on my Facebook the other day that was for a national park shirt or something that had a bunch of aliens on it, and it said, "Take us to your parks."
Oh, well, they did take them to the parks, and they, I guess, you know, took over the parks.
Yeah,
really. So she finds out that these spirits aren't necessarily, you know, purposely hunting down humans. They're just doing angry ghost things because they're not on their planet. They have unfinished business, I guess.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So she has a final vision while she's knocked out in this crater, in which a phantom tells her that the spirit within her is the eighth spirit. So the phantom infection that she has had this whole time is spirit number 8. You following?
Mm-hmm.
So she
Mm-hmm.
has all 8 spirits. That's what apparently they need to get rid of the phantoms.
See, I just don't. Why wouldn't I? I don't know.
So when she wakes up out of her little coma in the crater, she calls Gray to use his energy pack battery, and they complete the wavelength that all of her spirits make um, to begin projecting. But as it begins to project, the Zeus cannon hammers down again, messes everything up because this guy's crazy up there, completely obliterates their remaining protection, um, and triggers a massive reaction from the Phantom World spirit, which was basically what came down on this meteor. So the whole plot of this movie involves our Earth spirit Gaia and then another planet spirit colliding with ours. So we have effectively 2 planet spirits on our planet. So that's what's causing all the issue.
Mm.
Right. So it starts freaking out because of the cannon. Um, but this last attack overloads the Zeus cannon and it blows up in space and it takes our bad guy General Hein with it. So he is dead. So no
Oopsies.
good. So with the vehicle destroyed, Gray, Captain Gray, sacrifices his own life to take Aki's spirit wave, for lack of a better term. And when the alien spirit takes his body, his spirit, his energy, it has that wavelength in it, and then it nullifies all of the phantoms. They're all gone. So he sacrifices himself to get rid of them all and let her live. Um, they transform into bright floating orbs, which return to space to transcend to the afterlife. So they are like at peace now, for lack of a better term.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as they should have done when their world was destroyed. But since the meteor, I mean, I don't know how you justify that, but it happened. Um, and
I don't
then,
know how you justify the movie, honestly.
and then at the end, Aki is left holding Gray's dead body and looking out into the world, and that's how the movie ends. So everyone dies except Aki and Sid. Pretty much
Yeah,
every other character dies.
I
Pretty
don't know,
crazy.
man. There was some stuff going on.
There was some stuff. I mean, it was confusing. I feel like there are better directions that they could have gone than like being, oh yeah, the spirit. They had like a civil war on their planet, and then it like blew off a chunk of theirs, and then it came to Earth, and it brought all of their spirits, not their bodies because they were dead, but their spirits, so they're ghosts here now. And it's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, there was some stuff.
Yeah, there was. So before you got some reviews.
Mhm.
I have a couple more fun facts about the movie in general. Um, so this film was rendered using some of the most advanced processing capabilities available at this time. Um, they say that a render farm of 960 workstations were tasked with rendering each of the film's 141,964 frames. It took a staff of 200 about 4 years to complete the Spirits Within.
So that means they started it in 1997?
Yeah, it do.
Damn, bitch.
Yeah. So it was a lot of time. Um, I forget what I saw a different stat here, but I'm not seeing it anymore. Um, so Square Pictures was who put this on. They intended to make the character of Aki Ross into the world's first photorealistic computer animated actress with plans for appearances in multiple films in different roles. So they were trying to make
Like a
their
s-
own computer actress to like go into other films.
Oh,
Yeah, weird, right?
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
It was
I don't know,
strange,
Chief.
a weird idea. So this movie was theatrically released in the U.S. on July 11th. It received mixed reviews, but was widely praised for the character's realism, which is pretty much the only thing it had going for it. Due
Mhm.
to rising costs, the film greatly exceeded its original budget towards end of production, reaching a final cost of 137 million, and it grossed only 85 million at the box office. So she was a flop.
Wait, what did you say the budget was?
137 million.
Yikes.
Yep. The film has been called a box office bomb and is blamed for the demise of Square Pictures.
Oh,
So
that's like I've never heard of it.
exactly that. This was pretty much a one-off by the end of it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, interesting. Oh, so if you go on like the Wikipedia and you
I
like
actually think I have it open, or did I close it? I had it open.
and if you like scroll down, this like whole thing with the character is so weird to me. Um, but talking about the character, each character had a model of 100,000 polygons, and then their clothes had 300,000. So it was obviously a lot of stuff. Aki specifically had 60,000 hairs on her head that they individually fully animated and rendered. Um, and they had to transition using Power Animator, Autodesk Maya, and RenderMan were the programs they had to use.
All right.
Yeah. Um, and then, so are you on the Wikipedia page?
Yeah.
Scroll down to reception of Aki Ross, and look, they have
Mm,
like a cover picture of her in a bikini on a
hmm.
magazine
Yeah, on Maxim.
on Maxim Hot 100 in 2001.
That's maybe I should post that on Instagram.
So
That is
it's so
yeah.
weird. But it does say
What do
apparent.
read do you
What?
sorry, that was a big stutter. Did you read the description to the right where it says like Entertainment Weekly named Aki an it girl, stating
Yeah,
that quote calling this action I hate that word
heroin.
heroin no whatever a cartoon would be like calling a Rembrandt a doodle. And then Ruth LaFurla from the New York Times described her as having the sinewy efficiency, Jesus Christ, of Alien franchise character Ellen Ripley and visual appeal of Julia Roberts' portrayal of Aaron Brockovich.
That's very specific.
That is very specific.
Oh yeah, so here we go. She appeared dressed in the bikini on the cover of Maxim and was ranked by the magazine and its readers as one of the sexiest women of 2001, placing at number 87 out of 100 and becoming the first fictional woman to ever make the list.
Okay, the just I looked up the list.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the first person, Jessica Alba,
Makes sense.
Kirsten Dunst, Kate Hudson, Beyonce,
Mm-hmm.
Giselle Bundchen. Is that the Giselle who married Tom Brady, or is that a
Right.
different?
Yep.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Tara Reid, Britney Spears. They're losing me after that. I don't know who Estella Warren is.
Yeah.
So let's go down to 80s.
Let's see what's
Okay.
around 87. Who surrounds her?
86 is Sarah Spraker.
No idea.
85 is Thora Birch. She was in a movie, one of our movies, right? Wasn't she? Or is that
Uh,
someone else?
no idea.
Who's Thora Birch? Hold on. That name is really familiar. Wasn't she in? Oh, no. Wait. Oh, is that the original person who played Wednesday in?
Uh,
Oh, she's in
interesting.
Hocus Pocus. I think Thora Birch is. Wait, wait. I don't know. I just saw something for her pop up that said something about. Oh no, yeah, she was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I think she's the Empress.
In
I
the first
remember
one?
reading about her. Yeah, Empress Savina.
Ah,
Yeah.
interesting.
I was like, I know I've talked about this name on the podcast before.
It's come up.
Okay, so that was 86.
Mm-hmm.
I have too many tabs open because of all of the
Reviews.
whatever. Oh no, that was 85. 86 is Sarah Spraker. I think I said that. I don't know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
88 is Krista Allen. And
Mm-hmm.
89 is Melissa George.
Ah, all right.
Number 100 is Nicole Robinson.
Interesting.
Mila Kunis is 62. Wait, is it Mila or Mila?
I think
I
it's
don't know.
Mila.
I get really confused.
Yeah, those are hard. So apparently, this same image of Aki in a bikini appeared in the Babes, the Girls of Sci-Fi special issue of SFX.
Okay.
So they were really trying to make her a thing that would transcend
Mhm.
this movie. And I guess in some way she did, if she was the first fictional character to be on that list. I don't know who they had to pay off
Mhm.
to get on there, but they did. Um,
Mhm.
a couple other things, and then we can get to review. So the director was Hironobu Sakaguchi, and he is the creator of the Final Fantasy franchise. So actually, kind of interesting that someone who created this universe and these games would stray so far into this type of thing. Because, like you said, when he was writing the script, it was called Gaia.
Mhm.
He was really going in some kind of direction with this. And apparently, Aki was named after his mother, um, who was lost to him too early in some type of an accident, I believe. Um, but I can check on that. But I thought that was kind of interesting and probably why, he put a lot of his heart into that character, if the case
Mhm.
is true. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
so why don't you smack us with some reviews and see what people think about that?
Oh, hold on real quick. Side note again.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoon movie was called Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, and it was released in Japan as an Jesus, an anime OVA based on the series of role-playing video games. It was distributed by Urban Visual across 2 volumes in '97 and '98 in North America on VHS.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I tried to get some across the board like usual. Um, hello, load please. Nope, that's the
Lovely.
wrong tab. Okay. Okay. So I thought we'd start with a 1 out of 10. This is from the 16th of August, 2001, so a month after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I clicked on this one because the title was, "Oh, look, it's an amalgamation of James Cameron films, only animated." And I think that's supposed to be a diss.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it has big Titanic vibes, for sure. This is long, so I don't know if I'm gonna read the whole thing. Warning, spoilers, and then may
Whoa.
contain spoilers. I realize that my friend Mason will probably not be too thrilled to lionized in infamy like this.
Hmm.
And I think that might be a typo there, bud. But I have to include him in this review of Final Fantasy. About a month and a half before this film came out, we were being bombarded with commercials for it. I took one look at the trailer for the movie and said to myself, and then my wife, that this was going to fail and fail miserably. To me, it looked like a cross between Aliens and T2. Terminator 2,
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
The commercial and the trailer even went so far as to rip off some direct shots from Aliens and plot devices from T2. If that was what the film was going to be about, then there is no way it was going to succeed. People are stupid sometimes, but not all of the time, and anyone could see that this film was priding itself on the fact that it was the first film to be filmed completely on a computer. Great, but what they forgot was that the story was nothing that we haven't seen before. Here's the premise: a bunch of renegade soldiers are sent to a planet to stop a bunch of aliens or creatures from ruining what is left of Earth. I'm going to skip that part. So back to Mason. He was so confident that this was going to do well. He bet me that this film would make about $120 million at the North American box office.
Very specific.
I thought it would do something similar to last year's box disaster AE. Do you know what that is?
Titan AE.
Maybe it doesn't say that. I guess less than 35 million. Guess who was right? There are many reasons why Final Fantasy failed. One of them is the film just plain sucked. I finally took my 8-year-old stepson to see the film, and he's a big fan of the video game. I myself am a pretty big fan of video games, but I've never really heard of Final Fantasy, so I sucked it up and anteed up the $20 and went. To sum it up, we were both confused by what was happening, unamused at the humor, and generally had no interest in the story or what was going on in this fictional world. When we left, Jonathan turned to me and asked me if I liked it. I replied no. He then began asking me questions, hoping I could explain the plot to him. This happens in certain films that we see together. Questions were plentiful when we saw Mission Impossible 2 together, but this time It was me asking him questions as well, hoping that his knowledge of the video game could help me comprehend what we just spent my $20 on, but to no avail. Skip that. All caps. Unleash a new reality. This should be a tagline for the new Microsoft 1.21 gigawatts time machine or something, but not a tagline for a film. This $120 million effort deserved to fail, and Square Pictures should now go back to the drawing board and try to fix, in a hurry, what they did wrong here. 0.5 out of 10. That being for Buscemi and Rames. Did I say his name?
Yeah.
Supplying the voices of the soldiers. I hope they made a lot of money doing this abomination. One good thing did come out of this, and that was that Mason had to eat crow and admit that he was wrong. He also owes me a movie, and I'll be sure to collect.
All right.
Yeah.
Got a vendetta over there.
Okay. Let's see. I had one more 1 out of 10, and then I skipped to 7 and then 10 because there was a lot. This one's really short. 1 out of 10. A pointless movie that makes no sense. This movie was terrible. The plot had no depth whatsoever, and the characters weren't interesting in the least. They spelled that wrong, so I said the thing.
Fair enough.
The story, they spelled it INTRESTING. They didn't get the inter part. The story made no sense unless you play the video games. The animation was great.
Dude, it didn't make sense if you played the video games, dude.
Were completely expressionless, and their hair seemed to move when there was no wind, but it did look realistic. I wonder if this person just hasn't played the game, so just assume the video didn't make sense.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then I have a 7 out of 10. Wait, how many reviews did I open? Okay, so I have a 7 out of 10. This one says improbably good. This is a review from 2006. I never played the computer game and knew nothing about it. I was drawn to this film because of the bold animations, but didn't expect the film to do anything for me beyond simple entertainment. I was pleasantly surprised. The excellent voice talent and stunning animation follow Final Fantasy to draw you in just as well as a live-action version would have. It is very easy to forget that the characters you are watching are animations and the action is CGI. A meteor has struck Earth, carrying with it phantoms who strip away the life energy of whomever they contact. Dr. Aki Ross and her mentor, Dr. Sid, he spelled that C-E-D. I almost said something completely different. Are locked in a standoff against the Earth's military forces, whose solution to this invasion may be worse than the invasion itself, and the mysterious phantoms who seem to have no specific purpose and cannot be fought using conventional means. Following up on a quasi-mystical theory of Dr. Sid. I did it that time because I read it the way it was written. They set out to collect 8 living spirits, which must be used to harness the life force of Earth itself in defense of the planet. This film is dark and beautiful, with each scene a masterpiece of animated art. It feels less like a computer game than an immersive experience in an alternative universe. A fast-paced action film, Final Fantasy blends elements of folklore, science, and animated battle sequences into a satisfying, well-balanced, and well-placed film. It is probably the most thoughtful computer game-inspired film I have seen.
You did pretty good summarizing the actual plot, though. That's
true.
Actually pretty succinct.
I have 9 out of 10. It was labeled the right movie for the wrong audience. It's a pity this movie failed at the box office because, in my opinion, it's really good. It combines the classic dystopic sci-fi future with a scorched Earth, a few heroes struggling against enigmatic aliens and a corrupt military force, action-style sequences that are at times quite intense, and the typical slow-paced Asian movie storytelling. Add to this a rich amount of influences from the Final Fantasy games, including 8 mysterious spirits that must be found in time where the heroine will succumb, as well as a lot of mythological references that must be taken for granted rather than analyzed to bits if the viewer is to find any pleasure in this film. The trouble is that the Final Fantasy video game fans wanted a story based on the games or on their particular favorite in the series, and were disappointed with both the story, the setting, and the characters. The average sci-fi movie fan, though, who ought to have loved the wicked general and his huge space canon, as well as the alien-styled surrounding and technology, was put off by all the talk about spirits and world souls, leaving for a few of us who went to see the film with no real expectations to enjoy it. Because it is a good film, the animation is, for the most part, excellent, even if some scenes have too blatant, quote, look what we can do, boast to them. Particularly all the scenes of Aki's hair waving in the wind. Personally, I didn't think the story was either too slow paced nor too weird. It works well, especially if you like Asian movies. For the European and American market, though, there's probably not enough action and too much talking. If this movie had been released this year, 2004, it would probably have been given a better reception. The thought of fully computer animated films isn't as new and strange anymore, and with films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, The Ring, and Hero, the West is opening up for the Asian way of storytelling. I hope to see more films like this, at least if they are this well made.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So some people liked it, but I think this comes back to my other complaint would be, you have this movie, it could stand alone and be its own movie and not be related to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like why do we have to tack the name on it when it has little to do with anything? I guess. But
I have a couple more. They're not as long. 2 10s and then one that doesn't have a number. It's just a review. So this 10 out of 10 says superb. Jesus Christ. Watch, listen, and immerse yourself. A superb film. I'm so very glad that I ignored those who condemned this. I bought it on the recently released 2 DVD set, which in itself is worthy of purchase, even if you didn't like the film. Simply loads of extras, commentary tracks, etc. I loved the overall feel of this movie. It invokes a sense of wonder in me that few films have managed to achieve. It goes without saying that visually and orally, this movie, well, sorry, they didn't spell that like orally, like ORALLY. They spelt it AURALLY. So now I don't know if they meant orally or like the aura of the film, because I've never seen it written like that before.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a word. The movie is a feast, but more than that, it is a movie for the soul. Ignore those that don't like it. Inevitably, they simply didn't understand it. It is a convoluted but ultimately simple plot, and you need to pay attention. But if you do so, you will be well rewarded. Definitely a movie to be savored. Savored.
Fun fact that we both learned today: orally, the sense of hearing.
Oh.
So
I feel like you would think that I would know that, but I've literally never.
The first search result says, "Is orally a real word?"
Okay.
And now we know.
We do know. Okay, this one's really short. 10 out of 10, one of the first animated films and one of the best. With a very good story and a great job from the animation and the actors that are very forgotten in animation movies who give life to the voices of the characters. That's all it says.
Okay, sure.
2 out of 2 found this helpful. Okay,
nice.
So now I have the one that has no review, but I think it's a positive. Oh, they have the number at the end. They just didn't do the stars.
Oh, they didn't select it.
So it says criminally underrated. Just to clear up a couple of points. This is a film, not a computer game. Sorry, A, this is a film, not a computer game. B, CGI people don't look or move exactly like real people. That stated, Aki Ross is still a more convincing character than anyone played by Keanu Reeves.
Rude.
Final Fantasy is misnamed. There's little about the story that is final, nor is it especially fantastic, but what it is a pretty decent mystical science fiction, no, not sci-fi space opera yarn. Possibly owing to the real inability to successfully portray facial expressions in the CGI characters, the mood throughout is somber and hard. So rather more like real life than your average Hollywood space opera swashbuckler. Frankly, because this story actually tries to make a point, it probably disappoints the type of viewer who would like a film like Aliens. The overriding message is simply that brute force is no use without understanding. And that's a timeless message that many cultures would do well to think about. And of course, this film is just beautiful, probably best watched while tripping on acid, if the truth be told. 7 out of 10 and a future classic as far as I'm concerned. This film will be remembered long after things like Starship Troopers have been forgotten.
I don't know.
And any word that I accentuated really aggressively was in all caps.
Caps. Makes sense. I think I got that.
Yeah. And I think on IMDb, I closed it already, but I think the average was like 6.4.
Yeah.
So I actually think that's a little bit higher than some of the movies we've watched. Yeah.
Yeah. which is kind of surprising. I mean, obviously a lot of work went into it. I mean, there's nothing to say that it didn't. And this is just the gift that keeps on giving. I have a quick Easter eggs thing. Apparently, on that DVD pack that our gentleman mentioned in his review, included some cast bloopers that they purposely made. I'm going to just sum them up for you. It says it looks like the voice actors sometimes messed up and the animators just went with it to make a blooper.
Mm.
So there is a scene where Gray shoots through a hangar window and then he jumps out of it. In the blooper, he knocks himself out in jumping into the window and fails. In the scene where Neil drives through buildings and crashes, the main characters emerge with debris, pipes, tools, stop signs through their heads, and yet they continue to act as if nothing has happened. In
Yep.
the wasteland, Gray stumbles and accidentally shoots Aki. After realizing she is not moving, he nonchalantly sets his gun aside and starts running away. Aki drives her spaceship into Gray during the shootout in the hangar, so knocks him over. In the final scene where Aki is solemnly carrying a dead Gray out of the crater, she happens to sneeze, which causes both her and the dead body to break out into laughter. So apparently, gold like that you can only get on the DVD.
Wow.
And then for fun, the producers created a music video featuring the characters led by Aki performing the dance from Michael Jackson's Thriller.
That's
So.
pretty epic. That same student did not know what Thriller was.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes, sorry, I have a lot of references like that because sometimes we just ask her if she knows what things are because she just doesn't.
Just to get a barometer on the situation.
Yeah, it's bad.
So yeah, I guess to kind of conclude, what would you rate this movie? At least the parts that you saw.
Oh well, I did also. We'll just read the tomato meter is at a 44%, and the audience score is a 48%. The critic consensus is the movie raises the bar for computer animated movies, but the story is dull and emotionally removed, and I gotta agree with that. Yeah. I don't know because like the Dungeons and Dragons movie, it had a lot of problems, but I at least knew what they were trying to do. You know what I mean? So like, and I know I have an attention problem, but I was like actually trying to watch this. It was kind of like watching Dune. Like I just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Like no matter what I did. I don't know. I feel like I got to give it like a 4 maybe.
That is exactly what I was going to give it too. I mean, I think first and foremost, obviously they focused more on the graphics than anything, and they pioneered this system, which obviously went to inspire a lot of animated movies. But I feel like the story was convoluted, somewhat of an afterthought, and I mean, I kind of understood what they were trying to do with it, but there were like so many paths that would have been more direct and make more sense. So for that, I will also give it a 4.
It was just rough.
It was pretty rough, and my internet kept cutting out because of the wind, and so it made the movie take like 2 hours to watch instead of an hour and 40.
Yeah, I just kept pausing it for other reasons, so it took me about the same. Yeah. Like my dog being annoying or whatever.
Redonkulous.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's the movie. We've kind of gone a long one on this episode, so I don't know if you have anything else to plug or to wrap up.
Well, now we'll still just have to figure out what we're doing next time, but we have an extra week to figure it out now. So
yeah,
at least there's that.
There is.
Well, I guess if you're listening to this, you should download the episode. You can like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on our socials at 5MMPOD. Send us an email to 5FFE@gmail.com. And share us with your friends and family. Your friends who are your family and your family who's more like friends and family.
Yeah. Until next time, we'll be clocking out.
Peace, bitches.
See you.